Why Russia? Well, here we go. This is all true. Russia has the largest forest reserves in the world. It's equivalent to Brazil and Canada and America all thrown together. It's 22% of the world's global forest resource. What's relevant to us, Russia has 60% of the world's softwood resources. Problem, Russia only supplies 3% of global forest products. That's something which is unacceptable in an industry. It's an anomaly. It will be rectified. And it's got the attention of the Kremlin at the moment, as well as some perceptive investors. Also, just any greenies here should be reassured, Russia's annual new forest growth significantly exceeds the current harvest. The softwood grows at northern latitudes. It gives you knot-free timber virtually. That's premium timber. Slow growth. It's one of the biggest opportunities I've ever seen, and here's a bit that isn't in the presentation, but take a quick note. The discount to value of assets, we're getting the timber in Russia at 95% discount to what you're getting at about 1,000 kilometres away in Scandinavia. Barriers to entry. I had a lot of difficulty getting this down to a small number. I mean, the barriers to entry into Russia are significant. The ones that are obvious in timber, it's logistics. Your transport costs are exceptional. I mean, you're often finding that the railhead is 250 kilometres away from where your timber is. You'll find that the roads and the railways were put up for requirements other than for forests, for other industries or for military transportation. But it means what you've got to do is you've got to actually cherry-pick your concessions so that they're adjacent to the railhead. If you're smart, you buy the railheads. And you need to be near roads and rail. It's totally pointless having 1 million hectares in the middle of nowhere because you've got to pay for them. The industry is extraordinarily highly fragmented. There's 20,000 plus forestry operations. Most of them are small-time gangs of people with saws. There's hardly any sawmills. The equipment, where it is over 50 years old. 95% of Russian timber is manually harvested, if you can conceive of that. I mean, 5% only is mechanised. The industry was established to service majors in mostly Scandinavia with bulk product. In other words, they would move in, they'd rip out the timber, they'd export it raw, uncut, add no value. That's what gets their goat. They have no reputation for quality control or for delivery on time. And then there's Russian bureaucracy, and if you've ever studied Russian literature and looked at a play by Gogol called The Government Inspector, then you save a bit of my presentation. Forces for change, very important, Charles, because this hasn't been given before. The political statement. Russia has reinvigorated the high-value commodity industries. That's oil and that's gas and that's mining. Since 1990, obviously they're now world-leading exporters and they control it. They haven't, well, they're only just now addressing timber. Changes in timber are going to be dramatic. If you think you saw dramatic changes in oil and gas and mining, you watch timber. What's got to happen? You've got to introduce modern mechanised techniques. You've got to train the labour. You've got to get acceptance in a region. By the way, that's the biggest barrier to entry, getting acceptance in a region. You've got to establish a Russian company and explain to them you're run by Russians for Russians, and then they are very cooperative. You've got to have a management with